happy day. When Jesus washed. When Jesus washed. When Jesus washed. Wash my sins away. Oh, happy day. Oh, happy day. Oh, happy day. When Jesus washed. When he washed. When Jesus washed. Wash my sins away. Oh, happy day. He taught me how to watch and fight and pray. And he taught me how to live rejoicing happy day. Oh, happy day. Oh, happy day. Oh, happy day. When Jesus washed. When he washed. When he washed. He washed my sins away. Oh, happy day. Church, you can sing. Happy day. Oh, 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 happy day. I'm talking about a happy day. Oh, happy day. It's a happy day. It's a happy day. Today is a happy day. It's a happy day.
Come on, everybody, lift your voice and say, oh,
Happy day. Today is a happy day. It's a happy day. What a happy day.
hold on. We're going to turn this place into a choir. Everybody stand up for just a moment. Come on, you can stand for just one moment if you can. Hold on. So if you have a high voice, give me a B. Okay. If you have a high voice, this is going to be a...
Oh, happy day.
Come on, you can do it.
Oh, happy day.
All right, now, let me hear you.
Oh, happy day. Oh, happy day.
All right. So if you're an alto, you have the lower voice. You're going to sing this, oh, happy day. Oh, happy day. That's easy. One note, come on.
Oh, happy day.
Yeah, come on, sing it.
Oh, happy day.
Come on.
Oh, happy day.
Now I know we got some guys in the house. Get a good breath because this is high. Are you ready? 1, 2, 1, 2. Oh, happy day. Oh, happy day. Yeah, come on. Oh, happy day. Say, oh, happy day. All right, everybody, come on, let's do it together. Oh, happy day.
Verse today is Matthew, verse 4, verses 4 to 11. When Jesus was led by the Spirit into the wilderness to be tempted by the devil, after fasting 40 days and 40 nights, he was hungry. The tempter came to him and said, "If you are the Son of God, tell these stones to become bread." Jesus answered, "It is written, man shall not live on bread alone, but on every word that comes from the mouth of God." Then the devil took him to the holy city, had him stand on the highest point of the temple. "If you are the Son of God," he said, "throw yourself down, for it is written, he will command his angels concerning you, and they will lift you up in their hands, so that you will not strike your feet against the stone." Jesus answered him, "It is also written, do not put the Lord your God to the test." Again, the devil took him to the high mountain and showed him all the kingdoms of the world and their splendor. "All this I will give you," he said, "if you will bow down and worship me." Jesus said to him, "Away from me, Satan, for it is written, worship the Lord your God and serve him only." Then the devil left him, and the angels came and attended him. Here ends the reading of the words that gives us insight on God. May God grant to us wisdom and courage and interpretation.
So I'm a big fan of Jimmy Fallon and The Tonight Show, and one of his segments is a segment called Hashtags, in which he sends out a hashtag and people respond on social media under that hashtag. And I thought it might be kind of fun to start out this morning, since we're talking about giving up the devil, by looking at some hashtags related to the devil. Let's get into it. Hashtag. So I looked under the hashtag "devil made me do it," and I wanted to see what people were saying the devil made them do. Here's the first one. "I wait until my dog is asleep before asking her if she wants to go out for a walk." Hashtag devil made me do it. I related to this one because my wife always goes to bed before me, and as she's walking up the stairs, she looks down at me and she says, "Caleb, before you go to bed, please make sure the dog doesn't need to go out." And so I look over at my sleeping dog, and not wanting to go outside myself, I ask her as quietly as humanly possible, "Do you want to go outside?" And you know what? She never gets up. And then I can honestly tell my wife the next morning when she says, "Did you take the dog out?" I can say, "You know what? I tried. She didn't want to. Devil made me do it." Number 2, tell my son to put the phone away at the table, then sneak an email under the table myself. Hashtag devil made me do it. So I relate to this because I spend a lot of time on social media on my phone, more than I should. And sometimes I find myself with my little girls, and instead of paying attention, sometimes looking to see if people liked and commented on the cute pictures I shared of them, rather than just spending time with them myself. I relate to that. Here's another one. I just dropped my McChicken sandwich on the floor, and you can 100% believe I still picked it up and ate it anyway. Devil made me do it. Gross, right? Now, I'm not going to say I've ever done this, but I will say that once you have kids, your whole notion of what's gross kind of changes. Number 4, I put off getting ready for church so that at the last minute I can always change my mind and stay home. Devil made me do it. Any of you ever do this? No, of course not. Never. Oh, I got a hand. See, the youth are honest. The youth are honest. I know, sometimes it's tempting not to drive to Hillcrest, not to fight the traffic, or try and find a place to park. I used to do this all the time while I wasn't employed by the church. One more. An apple a day will keep anyone away if thrown hard enough. Devil made me do it. I hope this person wasn't actually throwing apples, but we do know that the devil likes to tempt people with fruit, right? That's it. That's all the hashtags for today. Devil made me do it. It's always easier to blame something or someone else, isn't it? And the devil has been a convenient scapegoat for almost 2 millennia. The devil, Satan, Beelzebub, Lucifer, the prince of darkness. You all know how the story goes, don't you? You do, good. If you don't, it goes a little something like this. That once there was an angel in heaven, and the angel started a revolution against God. And these revolting forces combated God. There was this cosmic war that God won, and then cast Satan down to the pits of hell, where Satan would rule over these lakes of fire, burning the souls of the damned for all of eternity. At least until there was another cosmic battle, where God would come in once again and fight Satan until God ultimately cast Satan out for good. You heard that? Yep. You know what? The only problem with this is not a single word of what I just said is actually in the Bible. None of it is biblical. It's all stuff that people just made up later. The whole concept of Satan and hell came along after the Jewish people had been exposed to Greco-Roman culture, and a lot of the popular imagination that we have about hell comes from that or from Dante, not from the Bible. In fact, in the Hebrew Bible, there is no concept of the devil or hell. So what does the Hebrew Bible say about that? Let's start there in the Hebrew Bible. Well, the ancient Israelites, who after the Babylonian exile became the Jewish people, didn't see the universe in the way that we see it today. They didn't have a concept of the fact that we were on the planet Earth, orbiting the sun, in the solar system, a part of the Milky Way galaxy, as a part of this unimaginably large and complicated universe. Instead, they saw the universe in this way, as a 3-tiered system that went like this. That above us, like literally above us, above the clouds, there wasn't the atmosphere and space, but the heavens where the gods resided. And I say the gods because the ancient Israelites weren't quite as monotheistic as we often like to think that they were. They believed that their God, Yahweh, was at the top of the pyramid, but that there were other gods and divine beings. There was this council of heaven, a heavenly council of divine beings that consulted with Yahweh. That's why in Genesis we find, "Let us create humankind in our image." It's also why in the 10 Commandments we find, "You shall have no other gods before me." Right? Not no other gods, period. No other gods before me, because they actually believed in multiple gods. They just believed that Yahweh was at the top of the pyramid. So the heavens is where Yahweh and the divine heavenly council was. And then there was this earthly realm, the realm that human beings inhabit. And then literally below us was a place called Sheol, which is where all the dead were. There wasn't a notion of an afterlife, but there was the thought that all dead people, all dead souls, were in Sheol. It wasn't a place of eternal reward or eternal punishment, not the way we think of the afterlife today, but the dead resided somehow, in some way, in Sheol. And that is how they understood the universe. There was no concept of a cosmic evil being. And you might say, but Caleb, the devil is all over the Hebrew Bible. To which I would say, is he? And you might say, well, how about the second creation story where the devil is a serpent? To which I would say, is he? I mean, go back and read that story, and you'll see that that second creation narrative never names the devil as the serpent in the second creation story. In fact, the Bible doesn't seem to have that understanding of the story itself, other than maybe a vague reference in the book of Revelation to a serpent. But as you know, much in the book of Revelation is very vague. Instead, the person who decided that the serpent was going to be the devil was Augustine, the same dude who invented the terrible theology of original sin. The devil couldn't have been the serpent in the story because the concept of a devil hadn't been invented yet. Okay, so that couldn't have been the purpose of the story. So you might say, okay, Caleb, okay, I will give you the three-tiered system of the universe. No concept of hell. I'll give you that. I'll also give you the serpent not being the devil. But I have read through the Hebrew Bible, and I know that the word Satan appears in the Hebrew Bible. And you would be right. It does. There are a whopping 9 instances of the word Satan in the Hebrew Bible. So let's talk about them. The word Satan means accuser or opposer. It means an adversary. And every time that it's used in the Hebrew Bible, it should have the article the in front of it. The Satan, the opponent, the adversary. So of those 9 instances where the Satan is mentioned, 5 of those are human Satans, human adversaries. So political opponents, legal opponents, these kinds of things that are actually human beings. Of the 4 remaining, they are divine Satans, but not malevolent cosmic beings. In Numbers 22, the first time that we see divine Satan, thus Satan is actually acting on behalf of God. The next time we see the Satan is in the book of Job, where the Satan is a part of the heavenly council and is acting as a sort of prosecuting attorney against Job. But if you go through and read that, you'll see that Yahweh is ultimately in charge. In Zechariah 3, we see the Satan being used to show God's favor for the high priest. And then the only remaining instance is in 1 Chronicles, and this is the only time where we don't see the article the in front of Satan. Instead, we see the article a Satan, and it's a retelling of a story we've already heard, and so we know that it's not a cosmic being. Simply put, there was no concept of Satan as a malevolent being in the Hebrew Bible. There was no concept of hell when the Hebrew Bible canon closed. It was not until the Jewish people came into contact with Greco-Roman culture that they began to become open to this idea that there could be any kind of an afterlife at all, that there could be a cosmic evil being, and that there could be perhaps a future apocalypse. So between the closing of the Hebrew Bible canon and the beginning of the writing of the New Testament, some groups of Jews became open to this, meaning that in the first century, whenever Jesus was teaching in ancient Judea, there would have been some people who would have believed in these things, but by and large, the vast majority of Jewish people would not have believed in them. I think as we look to the New Testament, we should think about the Hebrew Bible notion of Satan as an accuser, as an opponent, because I think that that's also the way that it is used in the New Testament. For instance, think about whenever Peter is confronting Jesus, and Jesus says, "Get behind me, Satan!" Not today, Satan, right? He's saying, "Get behind me, opposer," one who is opposing me. That's literally what the word means. Get behind me, Satan. Today's scripture lesson, I think, is appropriate for us to talk about because this scripture lesson is almost always tied to this season of Lent. As we're celebrating 40 days leading up to Easter, we think about Jesus' 40 days in the wilderness in which he is tempted by the devil, right? And the word that is used here is diabolos. And diabolos really means one who gives false information. And I think what we should see whenever we read this story is a discernment of Jesus' call to ministry. So take note when this story happens. It happens in all three of the Synoptic Gospels after Jesus has been baptized and before he starts his public ministry. Okay? Here he is tempted not to go into his public ministry. And I think that's the way we should understand this, not as a cosmic being tempting Jesus, but as false information in Jesus' mind before he begins his public ministry. So the Gospel of Mark doesn't go through the whole narrative that we just heard a few moments ago. Matthew and Luke have different versions of that. But in Mark, it simply says this, that Jesus was driven out into the wilderness to be tempted by Satan, to be tempted by an opposition. As we know from the roots of that word, that could literally mean anything. It could mean the wilderness itself. It could mean Jesus' own self-doubt or even another person. I think it's safe to say that Satan and the concept of hell are not biblical, at least not the way we understand them today. Let's talk about hell a little bit too, I think. Jesus did talk about hell, but the word in English that is translated as hell doesn't mean a fiery pit where people's souls go to burn for all of eternity. In fact, the word that Jesus used for hell was Gehenna. Gehenna. And here's the thing, folks. Gehenna was a literal place, a real place. It was a valley right outside the walls of Jerusalem that was thought to have been abandoned by God. So the story goes that the ancient Israelites worshipped other gods before Yahweh, pagan gods to which they had child sacrifices, burnt child sacrifices. Meaning that the Jewish people looked at that valley, Gehenna, as a place to be avoided at all costs because it was a great place of evil where something bad had occurred. Other scholars suggest that it may have also been the place where Jerusalem threw and burned its trash. It was thought to be the worst place on earth. So listen to how Jesus talks about this. He says, we ought to be committed to the values of the reign of God: love, compassion, peace, justice, kindness. And if you deny those values, it is like living in Gehenna, the worst place on earth. You can either have the reign of God or you can have Gehenna. It's up to you. Ooh, boy, man, the historical context of this stuff really changes things, doesn't it? It's not about hellfire and damnation. It's about the choice that we have to create a better world, as it always is with Jesus. You see, believing in the devil and hell, I think ultimately causes us to shift focus away from our own responsibility. Now you might say, as long as I don't tell anyone they're going to hell, is there any harm in me believing that? Yes, there is great harm in you believing that, because believing in the devil and hell shifts the responsibility away from us. Let me give you an example. Let's say that someone goes into a school and commits mass murder. If we believe in the devil, we might ultimately say, well, that's the devil at work in the world. That's evil, and there's nothing that we can do about that. And ultimately, that shooter is going to get what's coming to them. They're going to hell. And then all of a sudden, thoughts and prayers in response seem like a perfectly valid thing to do. It stops us from asking the really hard questions, like why is it almost exclusively white males that commit mass murder by shooting? Or why is it that we allow legislators to remain in power who openly worship their true God, the NRA, instead of doing something about gun violence? When we expect God to do all the work, it stops us from working with God in the world. You see, there is a theological notion that we are called to be co-creators with God, that we shouldn't expect God to do all the things, but that we are supposed to be a part of what God is doing. And I think whenever we latch on to bad theology like the devil and hell, it keeps us from ultimately embracing the life-giving theology that Jesus taught. It's bad theology to hold on to that stuff. So I've got an idea. For Lent this year, let's give up the devil and hell. And actually, you know what? This is such bad theology. Let's not just give it up for Lent. Let's give it up for good. May it be so, and thanks be to God.